It's the 16th of September today, and as you can see, I'm in the greenhouse. The reason for that being is it's absolutely pouring outside. Actually, saying that, it's just stopped, but it basically has been raining all night and all day. We've not had the massive downpours that a load of people have had, but and we've had no flooding, so that's good, at least where I live. But it's just sort of been that constant drizzle, which is really quite annoying, but we do need the rain, so I can't really complain. We have had a bit of thunder. We had some this morning, we had some last night, but it wasn't major stuff. It was a long way away. We seemed to sort of catch the tail end of storms that had happened elsewhere. But because I'm not down the allotment, I thought I would come in the greenhouse at home because there's lots to do in here. Now, what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to work my way through these, and it's going to take me quite a while because I've just got so many of them, is the tomatoes. The tomatoes have done very, very well this year. They've been coming to an end for the last sort of couple of weeks. So I've actually stopped watering them. I didn't water them because they were coming to an end, and I just thought the fruit that's on there will just ripen in the sun and they'll be absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pick the rest of the tomatoes. There's all sorts of different varieties here, and once I've picked them all, then I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. But let's just have a look at some of them. Now, I've also picked some of the ones from outside, which is why there's some soil on them. But you can see I've got lots of little cherry ones, some lovely medium-sized yellow ones. If there are some that are still green, pick those as well, because then you can just put those on a tray with a tea towel over them and just check them once a week, and they will very, very slowly turn. And I've got some nice big ones here. That one's actually got a split down it there, and you can see it's actually starting just in a small section to just go a little bit mouldy, so I must make sure that I use this one first. Or I could cut that section out. But let's look at some of the other ones. I've got lots of little yellow ones, and I've got some really nice, quite sizable ones. Now, if I just move these leaves here, you'll see that there's some lovely yellow ones there. So I'm going to take all of these ones off. There's lots of yellow, little yellow ones, as you can hopefully see. They're really nice. They're just so sweet, and they're just pulling off really, really quickly. So there's just a few of the yellow ones. I'll just keep going, and I'll just show you the biggest tomato I've got this year. Now, this is my largest one this year. If we just move the leaves out the way, that's a really nice size. I'm really, really pleased with that. It doesn't have blossom end rot, but you will tend to find that with the bigger ones you do tend to get this little sort of bit at the bottom, but don't worry about that. So you just have to make sure that you when you eat it, you actually cut this central bit off, because this can be quite tough. Right, so that's the last of the ones in the greenhouse at home. There's a few tiny little green ones which really aren't worth picking because they are so small, but they have done really, really well this year. I'm really pleased. Lots of different varieties, in fact loads of different varieties, so I think maybe next year I'll keep it simple. Right, so now I've got all the tomatoes out of the greenhouse. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the plants down, empty all the pots, put them all in the compost heap, and then they'll all work their way down, and hopefully by sort of spring next year or summer next year I would have some lovely compost. What I'm going to do with the tomatoes now is I'm going to take all the stems off of them, give them all a good wash, and then what I then do is I weigh out a pound and I stick it in a plastic bag, put a twisty on it, and then I'll put this bag in the freezer. So if I'm doing, say, spaghetti bolognese or any pasta dish or ratatouille or anything like that, then instead of using a tin of tomatoes, I'll take out a bag of tomatoes and I'll use that instead. You can whiz them up if you want, but to be honest with you, if they're little sort of tiny tomatoes, I just put them in whole. Now let's just have a look at a few of the other bits in the greenhouse. Now, as you can see, and again, the chillies haven't grown particularly tall this year, but I have some chillies and they were green and now they're turning. So you can pick them when they're green if you want, or you can wait for them for a little bit longer, wait for them to turn. I'll keep an eye on these because when it does start to get cold, I'm going to move these inside in the house, and hopefully they'll keep going throughout the winter and they'll get bigger and bigger. And here are the peppers. They're not huge, but it's actually one of the best years that I've ever actually had peppers. There was one that I knocked off there. They will start green, but you can let them turn if you want to sort of the yellow and the orange colour. So I'm going to leave these for a bit longer, and hopefully they might start turning. And the last thing I'm going to show you is I've just harvested one more okra, so that's 4 this year. A grand total of 4. How fabulous is that? But there aren't any more coming on the plants, so I think that's it for the plants. The temperatures are getting too cold now, so I'm not going to get any more. So when I've finished doing the tomatoes, then I will cut down the okra plant as well. But that's just a little update of how everything is going in the greenhouse. You can see it's all coming to an end, but it actually has been a very good year in the greenhouse, so I'm really, really pleased. Well, I hope you found that useful and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.